Good morning, Dallas, Fort Worth. I'm Anthony Cernelia with Ask the Experts radio show on Talk Radio 1190, where we interview experts in their field. Today we have Roger Wakefield. He's our expert plumber, if you will. He joins us the first of every month. How are you doing today, Roger?
Anthony, I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Oh, you know how we do it. We kick it like a couple chickens. We got the Cowboys playing today, so it's a great day. All right, just to get your number out there real quick, if you want to get a hold of Roger as a plumber, it is 214-221, oh, I'm sorry.
Whoa.
972-442-4101 on the World Wide Web at texasgreenplumbing.com. How are we doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How have you been?
Oh, just fine, you know. With the holidays and everything, how was your holiday, sir?
I'll tell you what, Christmas is a great time of year. We get to see all the family and friends and spend time with our plumbers and just do a lot of things that we really enjoy doing.
Any emergencies happen at the house?
Not at the house. Not in my house, thank God. How about you?
Oh, you know, it seemed like everything went, you know, as it should. Went to the in-laws, actually both in-laws, because April's parents are split between Granbury and Lantana.
Yeah.
And then dropped her off at work and then went to my dad's house. Had a good old time, and then rang in the new year at the house, nice and safe and sound.
You know, I say no emergencies. Julie's father, actually, we were going to have, I guess it was Christmas Eve over at her brother's house. Yeah. And on the way, her dad on the way over there decided, look, I want to go to the hospital and get checked out. Had a chest pain and doing pretty good. He's got to do some other things, nothing serious, nothing dangerous, but, you know, definitely saying prayers for him to hope things get better.
Prayers are all around, sir. Well, not to just cut you off or move on, but, you know, our listeners out there might want to know a little bit about Texas Green Plumbing. Would you mind enlightening them?
Texas Green Plumbing is a full-service plumbing company. And I always start that off because when people hear green plumbing, they always think water conservation. They think just that we build green buildings and things like that, which I am a lead AP and I understand green buildings. But when I started Texas Green Plumbing, I wanted to focus on water conservation. So one thing that we do whenever we're looking at products, when we're looking at fixtures, we want to always make sure that we're trying to save people water, which therefore is saving them money. And if we're saving them hot water, it's really saving them money.
Definitely. And I mean, with the green in your name, obviously that would perceive or give the notion that you're a green plumber. And I would assume that that's using all the up-to-date and what would you say, technology, up-to-date technology in your work.
We focus on that. I learned from somebody in the plumbing industry a long time ago, a really good person, a guy named Bobby Duran. He does a lot of plumbers continuing education. But I took a class from him one time, and he said, look, if you will get up in the morning and study 30 minutes to an hour about your industry, whether it's new product, whether it's new technique, whether it's just, you know, news and what's going on, if you'll get up and do that for, like I said, 30 minutes to an hour, you can actually be in the top 5% of your industry. And I heard that from him probably 6 years ago, and I do that. I get up and I want to learn about new materials, new products, new things going on, or even just what's trending. What kind of problems are there in the plumbing industry, either here in Dallas, the state of Texas, or even nationwide?
Touching on problems, the last time you were on the Ask the Experts, we were talking about you going down to Austin and speaking with, I guess, the Sunset Advisory Commission on the TSBPE and the TDLR. How did that turn out?
Well, we will actually find out. I'll be back in Austin next Wednesday. Okay. The Sunset Advisory Commission actually votes and make their decision or announces their ruling. And it was really unique. You know, Anthony, I've been to the Capitol before, but I'm one of these people. I'm very prideful as a plumber, but also, I mean, the state of Texas, I love it.
Oh, yeah.
And walking into the Capitol is, I mean, that's like sacred ground. I walk in, and I mean, I get chills. And
you're walking into the Republic of Texas.
Oh, my gosh. It's an amazing thing. And to walk in there and know that you're there for a purpose. And like I said, I've been there before. I lived in Austin in the late 80s for about 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
My son sang in the Capitol when he was
Okay.
in a choir group as a kid.
That's awesome.
So I've been in there, and it's always been neat. But to walk in and know you are there serving a purpose, trying to help your industry, trying to do what's right, not just for your industry, but for the plumbers themselves that are in this industry, and for the homeowners of the state of Texas, it was a big deal. I mean, it really was. It was just this feeling that, wow, I'm here for a purpose.
You could see the determination on y'all's faces last show. It was literally like very stoic, if you will, because it definitely, I'm obviously not an expert plumber, but I could tell that it is a very serious, I guess with everything that's going on, that, I mean, I understood it as they're pretty much making it's going to be easier to be a plumber and make it harder for, I guess, the consumer to get a worthwhile plumber, if you will.
And that's kind of how I see it. And don't get me wrong, I've talked to Brian. He's the director of the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, and that's part of why I'm really wanting to go down this Wednesday also, is to speak with him again. That way, if they do take over, I can at least talk to him and say, look, what's going to happen? Where are we going to end up? Being there and actually speaking to the Sunset Advisory Commission, one of the things that they talked about, which there was a lot of union representation there, which I'm a union company here in Dallas.
Okay.
But, one of the senators asked, she said, can a plumber's apprentice just go to work for a plumber and work with him for, a couple of years and understand plumbing and know what he's doing and just be able to do it? And she had asked somebody else that question, so it was really funny because he kind of hem-hawed around and he wouldn't really answer the question. So when I got up and I finished speaking, and they give you a timer, you get 3 minutes to speak. So I knew that when I got up there to talk, I wanted her to ask me that question. So as I got down to 10 seconds, I looked over and I said, ma'am, if you will ask me that same question, I will answer it honestly. So she did. She asked me, isn't it okay to do that? And my answer to her, and it's so truthful, and I said, look, there's a lot of plumbers behind me. That doesn't mean they're good teachers. They may be great plumbers, but some plumbers want to get in and just jump in and get the job done and leave.
Yeah, everybody's different, right?
You bet. and some plumbers want to jump in and teach the apprentice everything they know, and let them do it. And then they start watching them and helping mold and shape them as they grow along. And training to me is it's huge. And I think that's why that I believe in the union like I do and help support them. And it's because they do have a very unique training program.
Is this why you're a union company?
It really does. It has a lot to do with it. I've got a video out, and I tell people all the time, go to my YouTube channel. I've got a YouTube channel called The Expert Plumber.
Okay.
And I've got people, and I get comments from nationwide, either apprentices wanting to get into the trades or get into plumbing, or just wondering, look, what kind of career opportunities are out there? And I like the union. I love the fact that they've got a training program. They have a system in place to say, okay, your first year you need to learn this, your fifth year you need to learn this. And their instructors actually go up to Ann Arbor, Michigan every year, actually Washtenaw Community College in Ypsilanti. And they go up there every year for, I believe it's a 4 or 5 year training program, but you actually get trained to be an instructor. So they teach you how to teach.
Okay.
Some plumbers don't know how to teach. They just know how to do plumbing, and they may be the best plumber on the earth.
That's just fine, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
they may be the best plumber on the earth, but that doesn't mean they can teach somebody else how they do it or why they do it or what their thought process is.
yeah.
So I really do. I like the union. The Plumbers Union is the United Association, and people can find out about it. It's really good to me to know that there's that training program there, but also when you're in the union, that there's a history there. And the Plumbers Union, was started up in Boston, and you can go back and study the history and how different guys got together and said, "Look, we need to find and make a better way."
It's a band of brothers and sisters.
It is, and I say the plumbers union, but it's not just the plumbers. The elevators union is amazing. The electricians union, the IBW, the sheet metal, HVAC, iron workers. There's so many of us that do. We have these unions. And it's probably better for an employee to be a union employer than it is me. I'm a small company, so being union is hard. It costs me more money. But
obviously it's worth it.
I get the best guys, and I can do – this is how I provide best for my plumbers. And that's a big deal to me. I want to make sure that my plumbers are taken care of. They have good benefits. That they're treated fairly. And open shop – like I said, 17 years open shop versus 21 years in the union. I'm a good guy to talk about both sides of it because I understand both sides from an employee and an employer. So I love what I do.
Well, you can tell that you love what you do, Roger. If you're getting in and out of your car, we're speaking with Roger Wakefield of Texas Green Plumbing. His phone number is 972-442-4101. On the World Wide Web at texasgreenplumbing.com. Once again, the number is 972-442-4101. If you'd like to call the show, it's 817 or 214-787-1190. This is Ask the Experts radio show on Talk Radio 1190. And stay with us through the break. We'll be right back.